Greetings! In this video, we will navigate a few screens of the Slack desktop application using the keyboard only. So to begin, when the page loads, focus starts on the search bar. When I hit Tab, it takes me to Launch in Slack. If I tab again, I lose focus, although I can see a slight border at the bottom. If I tab again, it takes me to my browser options. Now if I go backwards in the tab, it takes me to my search bar, bypassing the Launch in Slack button. So now I don't have access to that anymore with my keyboard. So notice also that the mouse users have access to this box, which opens up details about the workspace. That is also not accessible via keyboard. So I'm going to open Axe DevTools and run the keyboard test. Okay, so it recorded 5 tab stops. Notice that the workspace details and Launch in Slack button are not in the tab order. Also, the search bar is set as the 4th in the tab order, so something is causing it to jump there first when the page loads, or it could be something unexpected behavior due to an area error, but that that needs to be identified. And then if we just go through this real quick, I'll say yes because there is an alternative, but it's not in the tab order. These two elements showed up as the 1st and the 5th in the tab order, and these are don't receive visual focus and are identified by the screen reader as workspace Slack document. So we go next. So this one, first one's not an issue because that's an AI, it's not interactive. This one is, the second issue is related to the Launch in Slack button, which is not in the tab order. And then these last two are need to be checked to ensure they have the correct role and be removed from the tab order. So I will close out Axe DevTools. We can move on to the next page. So, as this loads, the focus starts in the message section. When I tab, it takes me to a sub-menu for attachments. When I click Enter, it opens the menu, and I can use my up and down arrows to navigate. And this behavior is consistent with the WebAIM standard navigation. So as I arrow up, it identifies from the screen reader right now that I am on 5 of 5 options. So it tells me how many options. Notice that the button used to open the menu is no longer accessible. So I can tab around, but I can't get back to that. I can hit escape to exit, but those instructions are not provided. So when I hit escape, focus returns to the message instead of the element that triggered it. So that's something to look at as well. So if I tab again, it takes me to the menu. If I tab again, it takes me up to the top of the page. So the elements at the bottom were skipped over. And in this case, it doesn't announce that there's any item is available via the tab arrow. It just, the user doesn't know that they're there. If I tab again, similarly, it skips some of the options. So if I go back up to here to welcome, this row at the very top, I have to use arrows now to navigate some of the other options, which again is not clear that there are any options available, and it's not standard navigation. So if I hit tab again, here, this takes me to a tab set. So it reads to move focus between, it says, it identifies that there are 5 tabs. So standard components such as menus, tabs, sliders, etc. use arrows to navigate. These must be identified with the correct role and have clear instructions. However, elements such as links and buttons should be accessed via tab. So I'm just going to tab through, and you'll see that it stays in the message section of the page. And then at some point, it popped up. Here we go. With the instructions. And it reads, to move focus between different sections of Slack's interface, press Control F6. It also reads, to navigate between items in the toolbar, lists and tabs use arrow keys. And we have already determined without the proper role or instructions, users don't always know when to use arrows. And also this pop-up is not consistent, and it can't be accessed, which is when it's needed, which should be as soon as they enter the page. Regardless of what section they're in, they should know how to navigate right away. It's because if I close it and tab around some more, it doesn't pop up again until I move to a different section. But it's, like I said, it's not consistent. So I'm going to go ahead and use Control F6 to navigate to a different section. So here we go. It says Create New. And it identifies it as the Control Strip toolbar, which is good. However, this keyboard navigation that's provided, now that I'm on to the next section, it says to move focus within the current section, click Tab or Shift Tab. So if I click Tab, nothing happens. I have to use arrows to navigate. So that's not the instance in this case. So we recommend going through the entire application using only a keyboard to ensure it behaves as expected, ensure anything that can be accessed with a mouse can be accessed with a keyboard, and that standard navigation is used, and that all the navigation instructions are clear. Thank you very much.